Yeah.
I guess by like G-rated kid movie standards, that's pretty
bad.
bad.
Yeah.
That's all we get. Like we don't see like a pattern of this guy being a dick.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he's a dog, like he's not even a bad guy. Like he's not like a bad dog that has to become a good dog. He's like pretty nice right away.
Well, yeah. As soon as they turn him into dog, he's licking people and doing shit.
Yeah.
Like it's like, wait a minute, how does that fly?
Yeah, and like this is obviously, one of like the million movies that kind of like rips off A Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm.
And even there, the original story or movie, whatever, Scrooge is obviously a dick.
Yeah.
Like there's no doubt that like it's not like Scrooge is having a bad day.
Yeah.
It's like this guy is just a pain in the ass to be around.
Right.
So I don't feel like they got it up to that level where I'm like, this guy's not redeemable.
That's because they didn't have any development. Yeah. Because all they did was like he literally dies within the first 2 minutes.
I mean,
they show him being a dick a little bit for 1 or 2 scenes to like talking about firing people, and then he's dead, and he's he's outside the gates of heaven or whatever.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't want to like jump completely to something else. I don't want to forget this. The German janitor.
yes,
please.
Totally.
Yeah, we got to talk about the German janitor.
Was he German, though? Because at times he might have been German. At other times he might have been Russian. And at some times he might have even been French.
Yeah. Gavin said he thought he heard him slip into a French accent.
Yes.
I would say most of the time it was German, though. Yeah.
What I really love about that is it's such a trope for German.
The German janitor?
Not necessarily a janitor. They're always like in these kids movies and stuff. They always have to have a German character that kind of is an idiot, or apparently German people are okay to make fun of. It's okay to make them like kind of the bumbling idiot.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's because of the Nazis. I don't know.
I don't know
if it just gives us all a free pass. Like we're the one group of people we can shit on, because we can't do it with the Chinese anymore.
Yeah,
you can't do it. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know why he had to be German, and I don't know why it was the janitor's job to hunt down the dog.
Why it was anybody that they had hunting down the dog's job.
Yeah, it's weird.
Mm-hmm. There's a surprising number of people I recognized in this movie.
Oh yeah,
there was a lot of I wouldn't say big stars, but recognizable faces, definitely.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
I'm curious. Do you guys think was this script written with the intention of having Gary Busey as the dog?
I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be a completely different movie if it didn't have Gary Busey in it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like I think that there's nothing left of this movie other than if you're looking for a movie that has a cute dog running around everywhere.
Yeah. Which, by the way, they really did a lot of that.
Yes.
I mean, this movie, I would say, if we could figure out how much time was spent of just the dog running from room to room or down the sidewalk, it'd be half the movie.
Yeah.
Or more.
Right. And I think from like our perspective, the only thing that made this movie good was the fact that they stuck Gary Busey in there.
Yeah, but I did like those scenes because of the music that they played over the top of them while the dog was running around.
Yeah. Oh my God, we almost forgot to mention the killer soundtrack.
Yes.
This movie has a killer soundtrack.
It definitely does.
It does. It does.
I won't even talk about the music beyond that. You just have to watch the movie to hear how good it is.
It does have some very noticeable music in a range of styles. Yeah. I don't know if it was written with him in mind. I don't want to say that it was. Like, I feel like that's probably not what happened.
I feel like it probably wasn't either, but then I also feel like nobody else could have done this role.
No.
Like, no matter who, I can't think of another person that could conceivably have done. I mean, we would all be talking like we would all be under a 1 on this movie in rating if it wasn't for Gary Busey.
Yeah, but maybe that's not unusual, because I don't know. Like, I don't know if you know, Eric. Jason probably knows because he watches garbage. But there's entire careers built out of people making these absolutely harmless, pointless, quote-unquote Christian movies. This one ends up being funny because of the way it's been cast. But if it would have just been cast normally without anybody weird in the role, that's the kind of crap they do actually release.
Right,
Yeah.
and I could see them still making
I don't
the
know
movie.
who watches these things, but like they exist.
And is this a Christian movie? I've been trying to figure that out since you mentioned it. Is it?
it's supposed to. It's not overly so.
Like, is whoever produced this movie, does it come from a production company that makes Christian movies?
I didn't look that far into
Okay.
it. I know that's what it was described as, but there was only one moment that was really, like, to me, that was really explicitly Christian, and that's like when he's coming back from heaven and he turns, oh, hey, guess what? You're not dead. And then they like give him like the sermon. They're like, just remember to get into heaven. It's not about the good you do. It's about the faith you have.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, there it is. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
we didn't get it the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious, because it seems like, Gavin, you have experience with these Christian type movies.
A little bit, like not on purpose, but I know that there's there's this thing called like Dove approved, and like if you see Dove approved on it, it's going to be the worst movie you see because it means there's like zero profanity, zero like anything. Like, which I get. Some people want that because they want their kids to whatever, but it also removes like any point to watch a movie. Like they're boring as all.
Well, yeah, because part of any story is conflict.
Yeah.
yeah, and if you can't have conflict,
Yeah, and I'm not saying that conflict necessarily has to bump the rating to something more mature. How do you have conflict that's
G-rated?
G-rated?
Yeah,
Like, what would the conflict be?
Yeah, but yeah, you don't need like sex and violence necessarily. I don't know if I was complaining, but I pointed out while we were watching, like, the dad comes home from work. How was your day?
Yeah.
Oh, I almost got hit by a truck. Well, I'm glad you didn't. Like, everybody was so happy and positive.
Yes.
There was none of that moment like in real life where like, why the hell were you playing in the road? You know?
Or where's my dinner, you stupid bitch?
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's families out there where like everything they say to each other is like absolutely uplifting, but it didn't feel real at all.
No, and that's part of. Honestly, I love that. And I don't think I would love it if Gary Busey wouldn't have been also there.
Yeah,
the fact that they had Gary Busey and then there's also these moments that are surreal. This isn't a real family. You can tell. It enhanced it for me.
And I felt like when Gary Busey's up in heaven at the gate of heaven and talking to the people, that was really sort of dark, kind of like trying to scare you into like, if you're not a good human, these bad things. Now, is that something that would be in that kind of movie?
They wouldn't even talk.
I mean, could be, sure.
They wouldn't even say what would happen to him if he didn't do what. Like, they just kind of were like,
yeah, Yeah, like they never even said you're going to go to the other place.
Yeah.
Like they didn't ever actually say it at all.
Which makes it a little more scary in a sense.
Yeah.
Because it's like the unknown. Like, what is going to happen to this guy?
Yeah.
And when he went
That's
up
how
there,
clean the movie is.
Yeah.
You can't even mention that there's like the devil or something.
Yeah.
and when he was up there at the end talking to them, like after he had done all the things to help his brother and whatever, it was like the guy's like, there are no second chances and stuff. And I'm like,
wait a minute.
This is a little creepy, man. Like, we shouldn't, know.
And also, isn't it kind of contradictory to the entire movie? Because he had his life, he was bad, and they turn him into a dog to give him a second chance. And then now all of a sudden they're saying no second chances.
Yeah. I thought it was weird. Cause he did his thing. He completed some missions.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, you didn't do good enough. And then he's like, what?
Yeah. Like, no second chance. But then they let him
dude,
live.
Like, you're like God, dude. Like,
You can do whatever you want.
I think if you want to give a guy a second chance, like, you can kind of do that.
Yeah. Great. I really like the scene when Quigley puts the CD-ROM into the CD player.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
like you see the little
And then he's
paw.
sitting there playing the computer
Yeah,
game.
he's using the mouse and
Yeah.
everything, and I was like, holy shit.
Yes, the dog that plays video games and reads the stock report.
Yes.
I just can't imagine what it was like to film this thing, man.